Okay, so I'm looking to research some elementary schools in the area, and I go to ELSI Common Core data. Notice this is not the Common Core state standards that you may have heard of coming into the elementary high school system. We go to table generator. These are kind of ready-made things. We want to deal with the data ourselves so we can do exactly what we want to do. Our first choice is what level we want to compare the schools at. So we could compare state to state, congressional district, counties, district, at the actual school level, public or private. I'm going to grab public. In terms of years, I want you to grab 5 years worth of data. If you really want to, or for a final project, you might end up grabbing more. I recommend skipping the most recent year just because some of the variables aren't fully in yet. All the data is not in yet, and you'll have to deal with some missing data issues there. So then I can choose which variables I want. There's all kinds of things about the basic information of the school, the contact information, this would be the address, phone number, the location, the longitude and latitude that's on here is really helpful if you're mapping out things on a map like you did in the previous week. Characteristics gives you various types of general information about the school. What I'm going to click in now is enrollments. So I want all of you to grab the total school enrollment for each year. And then after that, I want you to choose 2 or 3 variables that you want to graph. And you may pause here and think, envision your graph. So you're going to have something graphed on the x-axis, the horizontal axis, something on the y. The size of your bubble is going to be the size of the school, so you already have that. The name of the bubble will be your school name. That's already there. But you do have two variables that you'll be plugging in. You may want to grab 3 just in case you happen to grab a variable that there's some missing data on, and it's harder to go back and re-grab another variable than to grab too much here. I'm going to get free and reduced lunch. So this is a typical variable that's used as a measure of poverty. That allow me to see the poverty level in certain schools. And I'm also curious the number of Asian students, with my daughters being half Asian. It'd be nice if there was at least, if they weren't basically the only Asian in the school, would maybe be helpful. So lots of other things you could dig into here. Maybe I'll take a peek at the pupil-teacher ratio also, and that should be plenty. I'm going to go to select filters, and remember right now we're dealing with every single public school in the country. I think this is a little over 100,000 of them. So what I'm going to do is put a filter. That means I'm going to just grab the data that I specifically want instead of the data on all 100,000 schools. So one school that's nearby is Waterman Elementary, and I want the one in Harrisonburg. Another one is Stone Spring Elementary. Nice art and music program there. And maybe a county school, so Mountain View Elementary. Well, a lot of mountain views. And I need the one from Virginia. They appear to not be in alphabetical order. Let me see if I can put a VA in there. That didn't help. Okay, well, it's in here somewhere. Okay, I finally found it here. It's Mountain View LM instead of Mountain View Elementary. Those are the 3 schools I'm going to deal with. So once you get your schools chosen there, just go ahead and click Create Table. And you should see the names of your schools, and if you scroll across, you should see the different variables that you grabbed. Go ahead and click CSV. If you run into a problem and you really need to, you could probably cut and paste this data straight to your Google Sheets. But it's going to be a lot nicer if you get that CSV. Okay, and you click it open here. I'm just going to grab the data itself, not including the totals. The totals don't really matter to me, but I need the variable names up here and the data on the 3 schools. So I'm going to select that entire thing and right click or control click on the map. I'm going to copy that to a Google spreadsheet. Okay, so I have all the data in there. Whoops, I grabbed the totals by mistake. I'm going to go ahead and right click or control click on a map and delete that row. So now I have the data I need, but I need it to be in a slightly different format. I need to arrange it by year in order to use the program I'm going to use. So what we want here is, first of all, the year, the school, total students, and then I had, I'm just going to call that poverty, Asian, pupil teacher ratio. And notice that I grabbed data from 2015 was the most recent, 2011 was the furthest back. So I'm going to write that here, 2015, 2014. You can let Sheets do its magic here, copy down to 2011. And all of this is going to be for Mountain View Elementary. And then I'm going to do a similar thing for the other ones. To be able to access them really easily, what I'm going to do is, you don't have to do this. This is a technique that'll let me grab them really easily there when I put the data in. So the first thing I need to do is fill in the number of students for Mountain View for each year. And if you see right here, 395 would have been the total number of students in 2015. Instead of typing these by hand, I'm going to show you a little trick here. So I'm going to highlight all the years for the total number of students at Mountain View. I'm going to cut them to the clipboard. Control C on a PC. That's maybe Command C. I'm not quite sure on a Mac. Command C maybe. And then I want to just right click and copy it. When I paste, I want to paste transposed. If I don't paste transposed, well, let me show you what happens when I don't paste transposed. So if I copy these and if I just paste them, they would go straight across like this, which isn't what I have. I have the poverty data from 2015, 14, 13, 12, 11. Notice that the years are starting with the most recent, which is why I started with 2015, not 2011. So I'm going to Control Z here and paste transposed instead. Do the same thing here for Asian students, paste special transposed, and the pupil teacher ratios. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing for another school, so I can just cut and paste these years, paste the name of the school, and then drag it down. And I'm going to do the same exact thing. Grab all the data on the number of students across the years for Stone Springs, copy that, and paste that transpose. So let me finish this process. So once you get done, you should have something that looks like this. Some things that might be different, you might only have 2 variables past the total students, which is perfectly fine. You also might have some things that were missing data, and there's like a symbol, like a line with a couple bars. It may show up differently on your computer. If you have variables that are missing a lot of data, the program, actually missing any data, the program that we're using will not, it'll just ignore that variable. So you want to make sure that you have 2 variables that do have numbers for every year, every school that you're in. I'm going to do one little change here just as I think about how I'm going to graph this on a chart. I don't really care about the number of students in poverty in each school. What I do care more about, what makes a lot more difference, is the poverty rate at a school. This is not something you have to do, but it's good statistical practice to compare rates when you're comparing multiple groups instead of just the raw numbers. And luckily it's fairly easy to do. I'm just taking number of students in poverty divided by total number of students at the school, and that'll give me a poverty rate there for each school each year. And now the data is good to go. I'm going to use a separate video to show you how to manipulate it in the chart program we'll be using.